Well, hello there, and thank you for joining me for another broadcast of God's podcast. This is your host, God is Gracious, and my subject today comes from Revelation 3:16. Because you are lukewarm, I will spit you out. Again, this comes from Revelation 3:16, which reads, So because you are lukewarm, neither hot nor cold, I'm about to spit you out of my mouth. Again, that's Revelations 3:16. According to this scripture, if you're not fully committed to following God, you're not a Christian, and God will reject you. The verse comes from the first of John, the apostle, four visions that he will describe in the book of Revelations. John saw the risen Christ surrounded by seven burning lights, which stood for the seven early Christian churches in Asia Minor, present-day Turkey: Ephesus, Smyrna, Pergamum, Thyatira, Sardis, Philadelphia, and Laodicea. John is tasked by Jesus to send letters to the seven churches, urging them to remain faithful. This verse is a portion of the seventh letter, which was sent to the most depraved and corrupt church, Laodicea, because they had all they needed and wanted to live out their lives to the fullest on earth. The members of the church in Laodicea were unconcerned about whether or not they improved as individuals. The Laodiceans' abundant lifestyle prevented them from seeing the significance of their spiritual poverty. Jesus forewarns that individuals who are torn between following him and a false god will be rejected by him, and that those who openly oppose him have a better chance of success than those who profess God yet walk in disobedience. So let's take a quick look at the three key parts of this verse, beginning with number one. So because you are lukewarm. Jesus was teaching the church, the ministers, and the people that there would be more hope for a pagan, a heathen, than for someone who doesn't make a conscious decision to follow God. There is no justification, no excuse for indifference. He wants people to make up their minds about whether they are for or against God. If God exists, it would be the best thing ever. If he is not, then accepting his existence is dumb, vile, and useless. We should be able to choose between the two based on the information we have and our concern for the well-being of our soul. So again, that was number one. So because you are lukewarm. Number two, neither hot nor cold. The term hot is used to describe people who follow God. The term cold describes people who reject God, atheists. Again, number one, so because you are lukewarm. Number two, neither hot nor cold. And lastly, number three, I'm about to spit you out of my mouth. This verse uses uses of the words lukewarm and spit you out conjures up images of lukewarm water turning someone's stomach and making them vomit. Is basically what he's saying. Lukewarm water, it upsets your stomach and you vomit. In other words, Jesus is saying, because you make me sick, I will throw up, I will vomit. Jesus is implying that lukewarm people make him sick. Jesus is rejecting individuals who are unsure of whether they want to follow him or reject him by spitting them out and rejecting them. So again, this is, Revelations 3:16. So because you are lukewarm, neither hot nor cold, I'm going to spit you out of my mouth. This is someone who is straddling the fence. They think they have one foot in and 1 foot out. They're in the gray area where actually both feet are out. Because you either have both feet in with God or you have no feet in with Him. You are a follower of God if you walk in obedience to His word. That is why in the last days there will be many that say, Lord, Lord, didn't we do all these things in your name? And He will say, depart from me because I never knew you. You never had both feet in. Anyway, I want to thank you so much for joining me for this brief broadcast of God's podcast where we're taking a look at Revelation 3:16. Because you are lukewarm, Jesus says to all of those who say that they're Christians, but their life doesn't measure up. Because you're neither hot nor cold. You're messing around in the middle, dibbing and dabbing. He said, I will spit you out. In other words, God will reject you. You are not a Christian. This is what it's saying. You are not a Christian, and God will reject you. So again, thank you so much for taking the time to join me on this brief broadcast of God's podcast. I am your host. God is gracious, and until next time, you, your family, and friends be blessed, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye-bye now.